Thank you for joining me today. My name is Ken Raggio, and today's Bible studies are in the book of Zechariah, chapters 1 to 3. Zechariah was a prophet and a priest. Haggai and Zechariah were the two lone prophets of Israel in the days when Darius of Persia released the captive Jews to go back to Jerusalem. Their influence on Zerubbabel, the governor of Judah, and on Joshua, the high priest, were observable. Zechariah was born into the priesthood. Several of his prophecies foretold the millennial temple of the Messiah. Zechariah prophesied extensively about the Lord coming to earth, including enlightening details about the millennial kingdom of Christ. Zechariah 1:1, in the second year of Darius came the word of the Lord unto Zechariah, the son of Berechiah, the son of Iddo the prophet. This is God's perennial proposition. He says, "Turn to me, and I will turn to you." This premise is that the fathers have turned their backs on God, and the sons must rectify the breach by turning back to God. As long as we continue in sin, God of necessity must remain aloof, but he will instantly respond to our first overtures to return. Zechariah 1, verses 2 and 3, "The Lord hath been sore displeased with your fathers. Therefore say thou unto them, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, Turn ye unto me, and I will turn unto you, saith the Lord of hosts." Zechariah prophetically saw men riding horses among myrtle trees outside Jerusalem. The riders told an angel, "We have walked to and fro through the earth. All the earth sitteth still and is at rest." But God responded, "I'm very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease. They helped forward the affliction." God was angry because no one helped Jerusalem after their return from captivity. These spirit messengers reported to God how Israel was faring. Zechariah 1:16, "I am returned to Jerusalem with mercies. My house shall be built in it. My cities through prosperity shall yet be spread abroad, and the Lord shall yet comfort Zion." Zechariah saw 4 horns and inquired of the angel. The angel replied, "These are the horns which have scattered Judah and Israel and Jerusalem." Previous to this prophecy, 4 great empires, that is, horns, had displaced Israel. Babylon, then Medo-Persia, then Egypt, and Assyria. All 4 of those empires had oppressed Israel at one time or the other in history, according to Daniel 11. Then Zechariah saw 4 carpenters, that is, builders. That was Zerubbabel, Joshua the high priest, Ezra, and Nehemiah. Those are the 4 carpenters who would rebuild Jerusalem and Judah around the time of this prophecy. God ordained a national revival at their hands. Zechariah 1:21, "But these are come to fray them, to cast out the horns of the Gentiles, which lifted up their horn over the land of Judah to scatter it." I want to tell you that God is not limited by any of our human boundaries. Zechariah saw a man with a measuring line going to measure the length and breadth of Jerusalem. He heard one angel tell another, "Run, speak to this young man, saying, Jerusalem shall be inhabited as towns without walls for the multitude of men and cattle therein." The measurements of Jerusalem were insignificant at that time because God planned to vastly expand Jerusalem. That can only be fulfilled by a miracle. Zechariah 2:5, he said, "For I, saith the Lord, will be unto her a wall of fire round about, and will be the glory in the midst of her." The enemies of Israel might just as easily pluck out the eyes of God than to destroy Israel. God made an everlasting covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, in which he obliged himself to Israel's perpetuation. He often punished them, but he vowed never to annihilate them. He called them the apple of his eye. Zechariah 2, verse 6 to 8. "Come forth and flee from the land of the north, saith the Lord. For I have spread you abroad as the 4 winds of the heaven, saith the Lord. Deliver thyself, O Zion, that dwellest with the daughter of Babylon. For he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye." Zechariah prophesied exciting things about the coming kingdom of Christ, and he commanded the people to rejoice. "Sing, rejoice, the Lord shall inherit his holy land." Zechariah 2, verses 10 to 12. Sing and rejoice, O daughter of Zion, for lo, I come, and I will dwell in the midst of thee, saith the Lord. And many nations shall be joined to the Lord in that day, and shall be my people. And I will dwell in the midst of them, and thou shalt know that the Lord of hosts hath sent me unto thee. And the Lord shall inherit Judah his portion in the Holy Land, and shall choose Jerusalem again. That's a messianic prophecy. Jesus coming back at Armageddon to establish a 1,000-year-long kingdom. In Revelation 8:1, when the seventh seal is opened, there will be 30 minutes of silence in heaven. Since the sixth seal is the day of his wrath, that is Armageddon, John apparently saw the same thing that Zechariah foresaw, and that was silence in the presence of the Lord after he won his great victory over all of his enemies. We can only come to the conclusion that when Jesus finishes his final war at Armageddon, all creatures in heaven and earth will stand in silent awe for half an hour. Zechariah 2:13, he said, Be silent, O all flesh, before the Lord, for he is raised up out of his holy habitation. That's going to be an awesome time and an awesome day. After Israel's 70 years in Babylon, Joshua the high priest finally stood in the holy place in Jerusalem before the angel of the Lord for the first service. Zechariah saw Satan resisting Joshua the priest. It was spiritual warfare he saw in the spirit. But the Lord rebuked Satan. That tells us that when you come to intercede, the Lord will also rebuke your devourer if you're in right standing with God. Zechariah 3 verses 1 and 2, he showed me Joshua the high priest standing before the angel of the Lord, and Satan standing at his right hand to resist him. And the Lord said unto Satan, The Lord rebuke thee, O Satan, even the Lord that hath chosen Jerusalem rebuke thee. The high priest stood before the angel of the Lord. On his right hand Satan had resisted him, but the Lord rebuked Satan and warned him that the high priest was a brand plucked out of the fire. Get that. As a fiery brand burns its mark, God's fire-tested ministers like Joshua are victorious over Satan, and they become tools used by God to govern the people. Like a fiery brand, his ministers make their mark on men. Zechariah 3 and 7, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, If thou wilt walk in my ways, and if thou wilt keep my charge, then thou shalt also judge my house, and shalt also keep my courts. Isaiah prophesied that a branch would come out of the stem of Jesse. Jeremiah prophesied that the Lord would raise a righteous branch unto David. Zechariah prophesied to Joshua the high priest that God would bring forth his servant called the branch. Henceforth Jesus Christ would be called not only a branch, but one of his names is now also called the branch. All life is in the branch, Jesus Christ. Zechariah 3 and 8, Hear now, O Joshua the high priest, thou and thy fellows that sit before thee, for they are men wondered at. For behold, I will bring forth my servant, the branch. Then I want to speak of the 7 lamps, the 7 candles, 7 eyes, 7 spirits, and 7 churches. Listen, 7 lamps, he said, shall give light. Numbers 8 and 2 describe the candlestick in Moses' tabernacle. It had 7 branches on it. In Revelation, John saw 7 lamps of fire burning before the throne. He called them the 7 spirits of God in 4 and 5. And a lamb having 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of God sent forth into the earth in 5 and 6. A stone, which we know as the rock Jesus Christ, had 7 eyes, the eyes of the Lord which run to and fro through the whole earth, chapter 3 and 9, 4 and 10, and the 7 spirits which are before his throne, that's Revelation 1 and 4. And he mentions it again here in Zechariah 3 and 9. The stone that I have laid before Joshua, upon one stone shall be 7 eyes. These are the 7 spirits of God spoken about throughout the Scriptures. Finally, Christ with his church will save Israel at Armageddon. This stone with 7 eyes will remove the iniquity of the land in one day. The stone represented Jesus Christ, the rock. The 7 eyes represent the 7 spirits of God that are sent forth into all the earth. Moses' tabernacle had 7 lamps, which foreshadowed the early church. It also symbolized by 7 candlesticks, the 7 churches of Asia, but greater than that, the 7 spirits of God. In one day, Jesus will save Israel when he and his church arrive at Armageddon. And I remind you that the church will be with Jesus when Israel is saved. Zechariah 3:9, upon one stone shall be 7 eyes, and I will remove the iniquity of that land in one day. And that's our lessons for today. God bless you and save your eternal soul in Jesus' name. Thank you for watching. Please like and share and follow me on Facebook, Twitter, MeWe, Gab, CloudHub, BitChute, Rumble, YouTube, Telegram, Truth Social, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Visit my website at KenRaggio.com for thousands of pages of Bible articles on every subject. Subscribe to receive my daily Bible studies by email. Go to Amazon, search for books by Ken Raggio. You'll see my daily Bible companion, 5,000 lessons almost from every chapter of the Bible, 2-volume set, Old and New Testaments. Get the Daniel prophecies, God's plan for the last days, 726 pages with footnotes, 175 photos, one of the most powerful prophecy teachings anywhere. Get the greatest doctrines of the Bible. Get praying on purpose, praying for results, how men prevail with God. Get Long Winding Road, my very personal story, and Treasures of Darkness, how to see the glory of God in your darkest trials. Click the link below if you want all 9 books for only $125 here in the United States only. And please donate through the link below, and then share these videos with your friends. And I'll see you next time. Good night.